Well, a lot of what God's been speaking to me this week long is just my testimony for week long is really just moving better on school and just doing a lot more things on my campus. This year I've chosen to refuse to sit back and watch another year go by where I don't help Danny or Tyler do anything on campus. And I really feel like one thing God's really been speaking to me this whole trip is that we start off as like a little seed for a tree, right? We get planted into the church with our roots, and then as we grow, we start branching out to other people, and then we branch out to other people. We also start dropping seeds and growing other people, and then as we do that, and then even after our tree is long past gone, we left a legacy so big that it started a whole forest. So that's my week-long story. #Tyler Bully.
What God has done for me this week is that it's okay to let go of somebody that you really care about, and that it's okay if you're not ready, but when the time comes, God will let you know, and that if it's not the right time and you don't want to let go, God will take care of will take care of them, and that He won't let them get hurt, and that He will keep an eye on them and stuff like that, and He will and that I learned that I should cherish the time that I have with my brothers, so I don't feel guilty about not spending less time with them. So and that I shouldn't give up on myself, because I know that God's there for me, that He will never give up on me, or I think that if I'm thinking bad about myself, I know that He will protect me, and He will always love me for who I am, and He will always love my brothers for who they are, no matter how hard it gets, and no matter how tough it gets on me with my brothers. And the end.
God showed me it's okay to be me, I'm God's creation, and I don't have to worry about what people think of me. And He told me just to be stronger about myself and not care what people say about me or how they say it. Just ignore it and be nice to them, even if they're mean to you. And He just showed me a lot of that.
This week, God really started to open my eyes to what it means to stand, to know what it means to take ground and be a Christian. He gave me a vision, a purpose for my school, and He's shown me that when we stand, we're not standing alone, and when you stand, you can raise your voice also.
So God has been taking me through this really long process, and it actually started last year at Weeklong, and He's just been showing me how to do a relationship with Him, and how it's different than anybody else's relationship with God, and that my relationship with God is special. And so I've always felt like I've had to work for God's love and do things for Him, and that there was always something that God needed to fix in me, and that there was always something wrong with me, and that every time I talked to God that we needed to talk about something that He needed to fix. But it was this last Tuesday where God just completely showed me that there was nothing. I didn't feel like I needed to fix anything anymore. It was actually the night when God touched all of the dead parts in my heart and in my life, and then the next morning I was praying and asking God what I wanted Him to do in the next service, and I didn't feel like He needed to do anything, and I was completely okay with anything that He was gonna do, because there was nothing that needed to be fixed in me. So that's my week-long story.
So my testimony starts around February, basically, because that's how I got into Christianity again. And I was bullied up to the point where I didn't want to live anymore, and I just wanted to end my life. And I wasn't really a follower of Christ, because I was baptized in a Catholic church, and like I only went to church on Mass. So like I ended up like messaging my friend like I didn't want to do this anymore, and like I just didn't want to like live, and like I like went to my closet and like I was going to like end my life, and like I just messaged her and I was just like, I don't want to be like this and I don't want to be broken. And like she messaged me back saying like, oh, like just pray, like you need to just pray. And so like I didn't really like know what to pray about, and so like I just started like saying random things like what was going on in my life, and like I needed God to like fix things, and like I didn't get like a response. So I held out my hands kind of wide, and like I was home alone, and like I just said, God, if you're here, just like give me a sign that you're here with me and that you care. And so like the minute after that, like I felt like so much warmth like run through my body, and like I felt like somebody was holding my hand, and like I kind of just stopped and like looked around, and like it was just amazing like what had just happened. And so like I started going to like Bellevue Christian Center, and like I liked it a lot, and so I got into like the youth groups and like summer serve, and I really wanted to go to Weeklong, and like I wanted to get closer to God, and I wanted God to do amazing things and like in my life, and I wanted to like be changed. And like I was praying for like over 2 weeks to like God just like break my insecurities and like just tear them down. I didn't want to like worry so much about like what people thought about me and like my appearance. And just a few days ago, like I just woke up and like I looked in the mirror and I just didn't care. Like I walked away and like I did not care, and I just all of a sudden like I'm starting to stop worrying so much about what people think, and like just like the presence of God, like I'm getting like more responses from God, and like I started speaking tongues, and like just everything that's happened in the past few days is so overwhelming. Like just being in God's presence, I'm glad that like I got back into it, and like God saved my life, and it's amazing.
3 years ago tonight, I was taking pictures for Revolution at Weeklong Anomaly, and as I was sitting in the back taking a break, I looked around and I realized that these people genuinely had something that I was completely missing out on, and something just broke down inside me, and I decided to give it a shot, that maybe it would be worth trusting someone again. And from that night on, I have come so far from hurting myself and attempting suicide and just all these things that were not from God. And since then, I've felt of worth and beautiful, and I think Revolution has helped me really grow in who God wants me to be. And I know that God has called me to be a leader, someone who can go out into the world and really enjoy life and teach people to enjoy life too. And that's a complete 180 from who I was before.
When I first came to Weeklong, I never thought that I would be changed into such a God-loving, caring person. When I really first got here, all I was thinking about was it'd be a fun retreat where I could just listen to a lot of music. But I was totally wrong. If you come to Weeklong, trust me, you'll be changed. I went from a person who was sheltered and not sheltered, but it was not really a person who would show themselves to people. I was always, I don't know the word, but I was always concentrated into little small balls. And then I started meeting people, and I started meeting all these wonderful, nice people, and I just started opening up to these people, and I just started sharing about why I came to Weeklong and why I wanted to be, and why it's hard to say, but I was turned into a open, God-loving person because of, thanks to Steve Marcello Marcello, I don't know his last name, but Steve and Taylor and a bunch of other people. I was turned into a God-loving person because of them. And I want to say to them, thank you so much, and I hope you guys change just like I do.
But I really feel like God has, especially this week, just taught me how to listen to him. And I've been like so busy the past year, like asking him for things, and I feel like there's just been like I haven't like heard anything from him really. So I feel like, well, yeah, for sure this week he just told me to like sit back and like stop thinking so much and talking so much and let him talk to me, and me like listen to him and hear what he's saying for me. And I really feel like that's helped me a lot, and I feel like he'll continue to do that, like going into masters and everything, and that'll really help throughout my year. I don't know, I feel like it'll just be really beneficial, and it's just been really cool to hear what he's got to say to me. He's really encouraging and loving, and it's just awesome. So yeah, that's it. Well, yeah, I feel like he's been telling me to trust him, and he was telling me that he loved me, which was cool to hear, and yeah, to trust him. And I kind of was like wondering what I was going to do in my future, like not really sure of the things that were about to come up, like everything that I'm going into this year. And I really felt like he's just reaffirmed that that's what I'm supposed to do, and made me more confident. Like we're talking about breaking down walls and breaking chains that the world has had on us this week. But I feel like he really broke the insecurity in me, like took that away from me, so I'm really confident in where I'm going now. And I don't know where that is, but I know that he's got me, so yeah.
Well, God this week really changed how I thought of myself, and how I don't know, like the biggest thing was that I am good enough, and never really felt that way, never felt like I could do anything, and God brought out that confidence in me, and it really changed my life, and also forgave the person that told me that I wasn't good enough, and really gave me a heart for them, and to love on them anyways, and to show me that he's never stopped loving me, and that I am good enough. So it was really cool.
This week, God has really just been lifting me up and reminding me my reasons and what He wants me to do this year, and wants me to just spread His love around my school, and He wants me to forgive those who hurt me.
God's just been basically taking me through my walk with forgiving my dad, and I forgave my dad Monday night, and I mean it was just really hard because of all the turmoil that I've been through with him, and just trying to understand that it wasn't his fault, it was the world's fault, because the world has basically screwed him up and he can't be with me. And I just love my dad so much, it's unrealistic, even though that there are sometimes I just don't want to talk to him. It was just, I have to love him because he's my only dad on this earth besides my Heavenly Father, and just I gotta love him because he's my only one, he's my one and only dad, and he's just been so great. I'm so thankful.